What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the D.O.G podcast. As always, I'm Drew with OC and German. And as you can tell by our apparel, football season's over. We've moved on. We still got one guy over here that's still holding on to football season. He's
still repping it.
Wearing those sad red and gold colors.
What if I told you like it was like some 51st Dates deal where I just keep reliving the Super Bowl over and over again in my head?
Dude, the one that was kind of crazy is the one that I sent to you guys about their playoff losses in like the last 12 years.
Oh yeah.
So many NFC championship losses, Super Bowl losses.
Well, I think it's
pretty crazy.
I think it's 4 NFC championship losses.
That's crazy.
No, 3. 3 NFC.
I think it's 3.
losses.
Giants twice, the Seahawks.
No, 4.
The Rams.
Yeah, they lost to the Giants twice, the Seahawks,
Rams,
and the Rams.
and then last year against the Eagles.
And the Chiefs,
and Super Bowl losses.
And Joe Flacco.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Damn.
It hurts. It hurts to get that close and to
I didn't
not
realize
be able to see it through.
I didn't realize until afterwards. I was kind of looking that up. I was like, man, this guy has gone through some heartbreak.
Yeah.
Some heartbreak.
The Bills
100%.
lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. That's
pretty bad.
That's pretty
bad.
Yeah. That one was, and that's, and then
you don't
I
got
think
that.
we were talking about it. It was all with Jim Kelly, right?
Yeah.
Same quarterback.
Yeah.
At least we've done it with 5 different quarterbacks.
But I don't think that that's any better. I think that's got to be worse.
I think it's no. Well, like the 4 quarter or the 4 Super Bowls in a row. That's definitely way worse.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely way worse.
I think that how many times they've been to like within the conference championship and the Super Bowl kind of shows the stability that they've had the last
the
15
organization
years.
for sure.
So it's really cool to see because Harbaugh was there and then now it's been
but when Harbaugh left, it fell apart and it fell apart hard.
Yeah, but they built it back up quickly. You know, it only took a couple years.
It took Kyle.
The rebuild wasn't that long.
Yeah. Because I think he came in out of nowhere, and then out of nowhere,
it was like maybe 2 seasons where he suffered.
It was Jimmy's first year healthy because we traded him. And then that's when we're complaining because he came in and started winning all these games, and we're like, dude, you're gonna ruin our draft situation. I think, and then we ended up drafting Boza the year after that, and then he tore his ACL his second year, and against the Chiefs too. I remember that.
But you guys the way that Lynch rebuilt that with Shanahan,
he's got a system
like
going.
Defensively.
Yeah. They have
wicked.
a system going,
and then they've hit on a couple offensive guys too. So,
well, I mean, like they've almost perfected like stealing guys in like the 3rd and 4th round.
Yeah,
like I mean,
because they
came
draft
out of the 2nd round,
D lineman galore.
Kittle came out of the 5th.
You know,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then they'll find George, and then they Debo.
Yeah,
and then you'll have these guys that fit their system. Aren't marquee names like Jawan Jennings, guys that are just like football players that they need that fit the system,
Right. So. It's almost just like whoever fits most with us and then their skill set and stuff. Because they don't go after like the flashiest players, right?
No, the only one, but they did that through a trade for McCaffrey.
Right. I mean, and look what they can do to like linebackers with Fred Warner and then, of course, with Dre Greenlaw. Mm-hmm. They also had guys like Quan Alexander.
Quan was a good one.
Yeah,
and then he ended up getting a contract to get out of there.
After that. So it's like whatever they're doing, whatever their structure is, that's why I'm not too worried. Yeah. They're going to keep it going.
All right, enough of the good talk about the Niners. I'm not here to listen
to the Cowboy fans,
to you praise the foundation the Niners have.
I
just want to know all your thoughts on this game. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Get your rant out.
I was telling OC, actually before there's these guys shooting a podcast in the other room, and one of them is a diehard Cowboy fan, and he said the way he loves the Cowboys is the way he hates the Niners.
Yeah.
Because it's like they still watch all the Niner games just to hate watch.
Well, that's what everyone does with the Cowboys. It is what it is.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't hate the Cowboys that much. I mean, I don't care for them, but I wouldn't say I hate them. I hated the Raiders a lot more because they were like the Bay Area rivalry. But since they left to Vegas, it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same. It feels like they changed. Do you want to hear my thoughts first, or do you want to guys and
go ahead.
Roast me
go
now
on your rant. Go ahead. We'll let you have your 30 seconds of glory here. You can have the spotlight.
I don't know about glory.
I'll turn my mic off so you can just go for it.
I might cry. I might cry a little bit.
Wouldn't be the first
I
time.
might,
Won't be the
start
last
choking
time.
Up. Yeah.
Still another football season next year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what can I say? Like I was just saying to OC, like the best way I can describe it is when we went to that Valley title game, like when you're in the final and we lost.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I always feel like in football, it's you win as a team and you lose as a team. And I feel like that's exactly what the Niners did, is we ended up losing as a team, right? There was a team that was just better than us. They had a quarterback that was way better than our quarterback, 100%.
What? No way.
What hurt more, watching like Mahomes like kind of like win it, or the mistakes that were made?
So
Most importantly, the coin flip.
okay, so the coin flip doesn't bother me as much because I still feel even if they would have gone the ball first, they go down the field and score a touchdown. Okay, now it puts the pressure on our offense, and then it would have been Joe Burrow tossing it up because Aaron Donald was going to his face like on the fourth down, right? It could have been the exact same thing. It could have been that we scored, tie the game, and then now we're watching Patrick Mahomes do the exact same thing and just drive down the field to win the game. So that's what I was like, when everybody's like going like super crazy about the coin flip, it's exactly what it is. It's a coin flip. It's going to go one way or the other. The decision after that, I feel like didn't matter because I feel like either way, once Mahomes at that point of the game was on, there was no turning him off, right? Because that's when he finally put everything together. And we're talking about it. I think the biggest one for me, the turning point of the game was the muff punt, right? That's the one that hurts the most because that's exactly what happened to us in the NFC Championship game against the Giants. It was two. We actually had lost to two muff punts that game.
Kyle
it was
Williams.
like one in regular time and then the other one in overtime. Which I mean,
Remember that?
it fucking sucks. It wasn't the returner's fault because it went off of one of the.
It's dumb luck.
One of the-
It's what it really is. It's
And
super
that's-
unfortunate.
And that's honestly what it felt like this whole game. It was just like dumb luck either way. Because then how many times did they fumble? We didn't recover it, right? We get the interception, don't capitalize on it. We get a really weird, holding call, which it wasn't a bad call, but it was like it was the only holding call in the game offensively, right, on an offensive lineman. So I thought that one was kind of weird.
The Kittle catch?
Yeah.
Was that Trent Williams?
The Trent Williams one.
That's pretty blatant in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's not a bad call.
No, it was the right call.
It wasn't a bad call. But then, the Chiefs players, they're doing the exact same thing where it's just like a little bit of a tug and then they let go. Right?
I feel
like
that
I
pain.
feel like that's been going on. But I feel that's been going on the entire year. Not just with the Chiefs, but I think like
the
overall.
officiating overall has been pretty shit this year.
It's been pretty inconsistent. That's the way I can put it.
Inconsistent. he
Yeah.
said.
So the 49ers blew it, or Mahomes won it?
Both. 100%.
If you had to pick one, though. If you had a coin flip.
Oh, well. Look at Drew over there freaking wheezing out.
Sorry.
That was almost as funny as like, oh shit, I left Jess at the movies.
Okay.
All right, my bad. Drew.
Moving on.
That was a good one.
No, I feel like it's definitely more Patrick Mahomes taking his opportunities.
For sure.
And he's got the killer instinct, man. I mean, how can you argue against it?
Yeah, when a lot of people were talking about how Moody missed one of his kicks, was it?
It got blocked.
It got blocked.
Yeah, it got blocked, right? And a lot of people were like, if that goes in, we win.
No.
I was like, no, because Mahomes would have just scored a touchdown at the end of the game.
With 6 seconds left, he would have just found.
Yeah,
Travis Kelce in the
he
end
took
zone.
his time and knew that, hey, I'm not going to force anything. Just get 3 here, and we'll go into overtime.
Right.
But instead, if he's down 4, he's going to get that touchdown regardless.
I think the bigger decision, the more impactful decision, I think for me from Kyle wasn't really the overtime coin flip or whatever. It was before that. It's when the Niners were in field goal range. It's 3rd and 3. It's right after the 2-minute warning. Right.
Oh, when they could have iced the game.
When they could have iced the game. So they call the man beater or whatever, which was a good call. That our offensive lineman just blew the assignments. Okay, whatever. But if on that 3rd and 3 you decide to run the ball instead, that gives you at least a chance to like, okay, now I can make a decision on 4th and 1 if I want to go for it, right? But if you run the ball, keeps the time running, forces them to call a timeout, right? So there it goes, uses one of their timeout. You have the opportunity to go ahead and run it, ice the game, get the first down, kick the field goal, game's over, right? So Patrick Mahomes doesn't even get an opportunity to get the ball. But you put the ball in the air, It gets batted down and complete. Now you give the best player in the world 2 chances to win the game, right?
Yep.
One in regulation and then again in overtime. So that's what I was like, had Kyle done that instead, then the whole coin flip stuff, none of that ever happens. Mahomes never even gets a shot. So I think that was probably the more impactful decision from Kyle than the overtime one. It's just, but I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, it was like a lot of dumb luck. Some things didn't go our way. Offensive line didn't play great. I mean, they played good. They held up. I mean, it wasn't like Purdy had pressure nonstop.
It kind of was, in my opinion, one of their worst games. I think at least their worst game of the playoffs.
Oh, the offensive line?
Yeah. What are your viewpoints on Brock, his first Super Bowl?
I mean, other than Short being able to pull off a miracle and put the team on his back, what more can you ask for him, right? I mean, other than pulling off a Tom Brady or a Patrick Mahomes, there's a reason only 2 guys been able to play that way, right? So, I mean, he played great. He played an awesome game. He made the right decisions. Didn't turn the ball over, right? Mahomes turned the ball over once, so that was big. Made good throws down the field. I mean, don't get me wrong, that Chiefs defense, it's a good defense, right? I mean, there was talks throughout the whole year about them being a historic type defense. So he held up, stride for stride. I mean, what more can you ask for out of your second-year quarterback in the Super Bowl? When he walked off the field, he had the lead, right?
Yeah.
So the last time he was on the field, in that circumstance, they would have won. But he can't play defense too. So no, but I like him. I think he's going to be our franchise guy, at least probably for the next 10 years, hopefully.
Do you think that that they should have forced Kittle to get the ball a little bit more?
I definitely wish he would have gotten a lot more involved. I feel like that's for sure, especially after the Debo injury, and that's when I expected him to finally kick in. Was when Debo got hurt. But it's still, I mean, Juwan stepped up. Ayuk, he had a few big plays. I mean, CMC would have won MVP, right? Had the Niners won the Super Bowl, or do you guys think differently?
No, I think Brock would have got it.
You think it would just?
I mean, McCaffrey had 80 rushing yards
and 80 passing yards, or 80 receiving yards.
80 receiving yards.
Yeah.
That's the impressive part. But I think I would have given it to Brock.
Yeah. Well,
Brock wasn't. I mean, 23 for 38, 255 yards.
It's a good game.
A touchdown. That's a good game. No interceptions.
I mean, if you compare his numbers to Patrick Mahomes' numbers weren't better. Right?
I mean, it's one of those things like kind of like almost like the season MVP. Like who?
It's pretty much
who's got the better quarterback,
right?
And especially if Brock Purdy would have slayed, Mahomes, then it probably would have gone to Brock Purdy.
I think had it been any other quarterback, for sure. But I think it's because it was the last pick of the draft. I think it would have gone to McCaffrey. Both well deserved. I think.
I actually thought that reception that Juszczyk had, I thought that was George Kittle. But then it turned out to be
the one
Juszczyk.
on the sideline?
Yeah, the one that he dropped. And
Why'd you put quotation marks?
Because that's the exact same thing that Des Bryant did, and that wasn't a catch. So.
But that's what led to the rule change.
Yeah.
They go back and they call Des Bryant a catch now.
I know.
Des never caught it.
Des did catch it.
Not according to the record, but
we're not going to go back in 10 years. But, I mean, so what are your thoughts? What do you guys think?
The quarterback with the most experience won the Super Bowl. And that's really all it is. Mahomes really didn't do anything outstanding. It looked like a regular season game for Mahomes.
It did.
Like his team was kind of out of it, but he kind of kept them within reach. One turnover, a couple of good throws. Didn't really force anything that was terrible.
He made better plays against that Super Bowl against Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought he played better against the Ravens. I don't know. It looked just so easy for him. It looked kind of like, but I would say Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, but even Tom Brady had a lot of adversity that he had to face in the Super Bowls.
So he looked flustered, but not flustered enough to where.
Yeah, like he's like, oh damn it, like should have converted that, or you should have caught that, or something like that. Run off the sidelines. All right, well, I'm gonna get the ball again, and I'll score that time. Then instead.
Well, he had a 4th and 3. In the
fourth quarter?
In the overtime.
That was the 4th and 1.
Oh yeah,
When he kept it right.
When he kept it and he went off.
Oh, that was such a good play.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you guys see the video of Trent Williams on the sideline yelling it, keeper,
gonna keep
quarterback,
No.
keep? Yeah.
well, and I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. I think almost everyone on the Niners has to know, what are you going to do in the situation? You're not going to take the ball out of Mahomes' hands.
And that's why that's why we're getting a new defensive
Right.
coordinator.
You got to know that he is either going to throw it or he's going to try and run. But the last thing he's going to do is
Hand
give
it
it to
off.
Pacheco
Yeah.
with a loaded box.
Right.
If he's gonna lose it, he's gonna lose it.
Exactly.
Right.
He's not going to let, a second-year guy lose them the Super Bowl.
Well, we talked about it before, right? All the years coaching is like when it's in that situation, you
Give it
put it in your best.
You
Yeah,
put it in
give
your
it to
best
you.
player's
Give
hands
it to your best
without
player.
without a doubt.
Mhm.
So-
So what else? What else do you think?
No, I told you guys before. I'm never doubting Mahomes ever
Yeah, I know.
in my life again. I've made that mistake with Brady, right? Thinking that he was gonna falter. He did a couple times,
He
but
lost 3 Super Bowls.
but
Lost a bunch of AFC Championship games too.
yeah, but he was always in it.
Yeah.
Even when he lost, it was close. You know.
Right.
Mhm.
So it's the same story with Mahomes so far. You know, it's
Mhm.
if he has a chance, you give him keep him within 2 touchdowns, he's gonna
It's
find a
gonna
way.
happen.
Yeah.
He has proven that he is him.
Yeah.
He is him.
100%. Well,
I
do you
mean-
guys remember his first playoff run? Or I think it was his second. The first time they won the Super Bowl. I think who were they down at? I want to say they were down
Was it
to
the Bills?
Houston
Yeah, they're down
by like
24
21 or 24 points,
It was
something like that.
24-0.
Yeah,
And they
And they came
scored
back.
like 42 straight.
that's insane. And then it ended up being a blowout the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, he is very impressive. I don't think he's going to last as long in the league as Tom Brady did, because I think that's just kind of unrealistic to last another, 16 years or 17 years that he would have to go.
Well, Tom Brady to what, 20 or 21?
Tom played until he was 45, right?
I think he 21,
21 years, right?
And
21,
Mahomes
22.
is 28,
He's 28.
so that's 17 more years.
Yeah. That's,
17 more chances at a Super Bowl. He's bound to win.
At least 2-3 more.
Yeah.
You think he surpasses Brady with wins?
I think he can touch it.
With total wins?
He can get in
He
the
can at
vicinity,
least tie
right?
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, with Super Bowl wins.
That's the thing. I think the only thing that's holding him back is Tom played so long.
It was
That gave them an opportunity to win 7 times. He's on track to pass Tom, but I mean, in a few years, you're going to really find out, just because you don't know how long Mahomes is going to play. Asking
then
him
how
to play
long-
another 17 years is a lot.
And then
that's
also
like,
how long,
that's like 3 careers worth of the NFL time.
right? That's a whole lifetime.
Yes.
That's a 17-year-old.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a long time to play.
Think
If he
about
could,
it.
if he could play another 17 years, I don't see why he couldn't get close to 8 or 9 Super Bowls.
Hey, guys play in the league longer now, though. So because
It's a little different.
they take less hits now. So the careers used to be on average like between 13 to 15. You know, like for Marino and Manning and all those guys, they didn't play anything over 18. But now
Right.
you start seeing guys having 17, 18, 19-year careers.
I mean, because Rodgers, he's kind of sniffing right at that.
Yeah, he's
point.
up there, too.
Matthew Stafford's actually been in the league a
Yeah.
while. Russell Wilson's been in
Yeah,
the league
but
for a
Matthew
while.
Stafford, what, in 10 years?
I think Drew refers to him like his playing style. You
I
know?
think- I
he
think
can't
that's
keep
what it
up
is,
that
Yeah.
athleticism for.
It's, I mean,
Well, what
he's-
if he does change? I mean, because he obviously showed that he doesn't rely on his legs to win games.
Well,
right?
he
But when he needed
he's
to,
a
he
good
did.
enough
He has it,
quarterback
yeah.
and good enough athlete to adapt.
I think
Tom
so.
adapted once he got older. He had to change the way he played a little bit.
Got rid of the ball quick.
Everyone has to do that, and I think he could do that. I'm just saying, even still, I mean,
Even though you're still a freak.
yeah, I
athlete,
mean, how old
yeah.
is Stafford? He's like 32,
And he's, like,
33.
falling apart.
he's
And-
older.
Look it up.
I think him and Russ are like the same age. I think they're like 33 or 34.
I thought he was older.
He's 36.
Yeah,
Oh.
see?
Russ is 36 too. Then?
Okay, now imagine him playing another 9 more years.
Yeah, it doesn't look like
It doesn't look likely,
Yeah,
right? That's
doesn't
what
look
that's what
likely.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Tom Brady had that going for him. Is he played for so
But
long?
Matthew Stafford took hits after hits. Remember when he was in
Oh God,
Detroit?
Matthew Stafford might be the toughest quarterback
He's
I've ever
gotta
seen.
be at least up there.
I mean, he
Right.
is a dude.
Mhm.
Every year, it's like, can Matthew Stafford just finish the season?
Right.
And
Right.
it's not like he's injury prone. The dude's just in a fucking
He's got
fight
like
a-
every single
He's got like a
time.
broken
So
thumb
here you
or
go.
rib.
Aaron Rodgers just completed his 19th season.
How old is he?
He's like 39, right?
I don't have.
Or he's gonna be 40.
I don't have age on it. Hold on, I could check right here. No, I don't have age. I just have seasons right here.
Aaron Rodgers is 40.
Okay, 19 seasons.
Wait, how many seasons did Tom play?
How many seasons did Tom Brady play?
I don't know. Matthew Stafford just finished up season 15.
Okay.
Joe Flacco. Do we count him?
I mean, yeah, he's been in the league for a while.
He completed his 16th season.
And he's going to keep going for another one.
I didn't realize Tyrod Taylor's been in the league for 13 seasons.
No way. Tyrod Taylor.
And then Russell Wilson's at 12 seasons.
Right.
Tannehill's at 11.
There's some guys that are actually in the league a lot longer than we thought.
Tom Brady played 23 seasons.
Yeah.
23.
So Mahomes, he's got a way to go.
Mahomes barely completed
his sixth
season 7.
He's going into 7?
No, he just completed his 7th season.
I thought he was going into 7.
I thought he was going into 7 because he's 6-6, right?
Yeah.
3 Super Bowl wins in 6 years.
Yeah.
All right, so then
all 6 AFC championships, right?
So
that's insane.
No, he sat his first year.
He sat his first year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's 6 for 6 as a starter.
Yeah.
Still, that's remarkable.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's unbelievable. And then, it makes me wonder. I mean, even though the AFC is just like super stacked, he's still getting through, right? You still got Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, and he's still beating all those guys. It kind of makes me wonder, like, how big of a part does Mahomes' like staff that he has there? How long do they stay there for, right? Mm-hmm. How long does this coordinator stay for? How long does
the thing
Andy Reid stay for?
They keep winning. It like rejuvenates them, like. Because there was talk like all this season, like, oh, this could be Andy's last year. They win again. He was like, no, I'm coming back.
I know he's coming back. Yeah.
And then Spagnuolo's like, I mean, I just called the best defense of my career. I'm going to sign another 2 years, you know?
And people forget he beat Tom in that Super Bowl when they were
the
Patriots were 18.
He was with the Giants, those couple years.
As a coordinator. So that's something huge. I mean, a guy that deserves probably to be a head coach.
But I don't. Like, the way I seen it, I was like, Steve Spagnuolo's probably like, I've been to the peak. It didn't work out. Now I could ride the coattails of Andy Reid and Mahomes.
Dude, at this point, I just keep winning.
I know what I'm good at.
I just keep winning Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Like, would you rather be a head coach and lose or be a coordinator, a defense coordinator and win Super Bowls?
He's almost like Eric Bieniemy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you pick your lane and then like, okay, this is
what I can do.
Same thing with like Chip Kelly, right?
Yeah.
He got to the top of the head coach, didn't work out. I'm just gonna go be a coordinator.
Yeah.
Right. So,
you think in 16 more seasons, 16 more seasons, Patrick Mahomes can win 4 Super Bowls?
I think he can.
That's one every 4 years.
Unless anybody else comes up and like starts winning Super Bowls like that out of nowhere.
It seems incredibly easy. Like for Patrick Mahomes, like that does not seem like
that sounds like I don't unless like who knows what happens with like the NFC. The thing is, like, NFC teams also need to step it up, right? Actually win Super Bowls.
Well, they did 2 years ago.
Well, it works out for Mahomes because the Raiders are incompetent. The Broncos still haven't figured it out, you know? And then the Chargers are rebuilding with the new coach, you know?
Maybe Harbaugh comes in there, and then with Herbert.
That's maybe the only, like, team that I can see that puts up a fight, maybe.
Is Josh Allen ever going to climb the mountain?
It's the curse of the Bills, dude. No.
You think so? You think even with the new stadium?
There's a video I saw yesterday where there's like, it's dumb. It was like a draft day video, and they announced Josh Allen gets drafted, and all the Bills fans are like, no.
They just didn't want him.
Yeah, they didn't want him.
It took a while to actually.
Yeah, to win over that franchise.
Yeah, because I think it was like his 3rd year. It's when he like started actually slinging it. His first 2 years were really bad.
Struggled. Yeah. A lot of turnovers.
I saw something similar to what you were saying, but it was basketball. It was a Kings fan when they drafted Marvin Bagley III. He's like, yes, I did not want Luka. And I was like, oh, boy, I bet you wish you did now.
Oh, man. So, I mean, who knows? What other teams actually decides to step it up in the AFC and actually beats them in the playoffs? But other than that, I mean, Joe Burrow, maybe.
If he can stay healthy.
If he can stay healthy.
The tough thing with Joe Burrow is he plays in a tough physical conference. I'm starting to think now that AFC North is kind of like it's kind of like the Big East in basketball, college basketball.
Beat
you guys are just beating each other up and allowing Patrick Mahomes to coast all season long and then he's just gonna overpower you in the playoffs.
What about what if CJ? What if CJ? You know what they got going in Texas is not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's cool and all. Your conference, your division's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see more than 1 year. Like it was a good year, cool year, but you know sometimes quarterbacks go out there and they have like a miraculous first year, and then that's kind of it. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that way, but let's just kind of see what the future holds for the guy.
And then Antonio Pierce, he says he's got the secret formula to beat Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, they need that in the playoffs, though.
Right. Yeah, it's not happening in the playoffs. You got to beat other teams other than just the Chiefs to go ahead and actually make it to the playoffs. But it's like kind of like the whole like bounty gate type deal. You know,
you got to hit him.
You got to hurt him. Yeah, hit him.
Hit him.
Yeah, you got to cut the head off of the snake. I was like, I don't think the NFL wants to hear that you're trying to cut off Patrick Mahomes' head.
Probably got a phone call right after.
Aiden O'Connell, the only quarterback to beat Patrick Mahomes like in the last 3 months or something like that.
I think so.
With no completed passes after the first quarter. That's ridiculous.
Oh,
well, they also had 2 defensive touchdowns, right? I think it was back to back.
It was at Arrowhead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was at Arrowhead.
Christmas Day.
Mahomes, what? It was a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and then a pick six on the very next play.
Right after, yeah.
And that was it.
Wasn't it a dude that was like off the streets that had that interception or something like
He
that?
used to play, he just had signed because he had played for Antonio Pierce in high school.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It was Jock Jones. It was the coordinator, Jock Jones.
Oh, my God.
But
maybe that's the way to the NFL. Just one of your buddies gets signed somewhere and then hit me up, man. I'm ready to go ahead and sling it whenever you need me to.
All right, going back now, I think we've kind of already discussed it. Mahomes is the new baby goat. The Niners choked. How optimistic are you that the Niners are going to land a quality defensive coordinator?
As of right now, I think they were saying
because I know you're hoping for Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, but you're going to end up with Ron Rivera.
It was a fever dream, dude. I knew for a fact that we're not going to get Bill. That's why I was like, I don't know why everybody keeps throwing it out there. We're not going to get Bill. We're not going to get Pete Carroll. We're probably not going to get Vrabel, right? Mm-hmm. We're probably going to end up with who's the Staley from the fucking Chargers. That's who we're going to end up with.
Yes, I would love that.
I'm telling you. I mean, that defensive coordinator, I think there's so many guys I think that are already in the system that have already been there with the Niners, who were there with Ryans and Salah, who I think can continue that philosophy. It's just Wilkes, dude. I even told you guys the entire year. I told you guys our defensive coordinator was terrible. Mm-hmm. When you allow Kirk Cousins to go to close to 500 yards, right before he tears his Achilles, and then Joe Burrow did the same thing to us. So it wasn't like our secondary played all that great. We couldn't stop the run for shit all year. So it's I don't understand why they keep going after Steve Wilkes as the scapegoat, whatever. It's just he didn't fit. He just didn't fit what the Niners had built. It wasn't an aggressive defense.
I was satisfied with the Cowboys defense coordinator pickup.
And then
Mike Zimmer.
And now he's Zimmer, the coordinator. Yeah, I thought you were talking about your boy Dan Quinn. No. How do you feel about him going to Washington?
Oh, damn. This is going to suck when you lose the Cowboys twice this year.
Will Mike Zimmer utilize Micah the same?
They asked him that in his very first interview, and I think he had a great answer. He said, I haven't had a chance to sit down and talk with Micah. I don't know why you guys would think that I have a game plan for Micah. He says the first thing I want to do is talk to him and see what he wants to do, and then kind of figure it out from there. And I was like, well, that's a great answer. It is what it is. But Zimmer's a really good DB coach, and I think that's going to work well with Al Harris. And Zimmer worked. Here's a little conspiracy theory here. Zimmer, for some reason, not some reason, he coached Dion. And he's now the last few years, he's been a consultant for Dion. Mm-hmm. And so when Dion needed stuff done at Jackson State, some help, he would call Zimmer, and Zimmer would help him with a few things. And same thing in Colorado. And he even said in his interview, he's like, I know the media wants to blow it up like it's a huge deal. He's like, I only really spoke on the phone a couple of times to him and the team, and that was it. Mm-hmm. But I'm kind of thinking, you get Zimmer in the door now down the road. Does that mean Dion's going to come back to the Cowboys? It's just something crazy. But He was with the Cowboys in the '90s when the Cowboys won Super Bowls. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm satisfied. He kind of has that. One thing I didn't want was another guy fresh off head coaching. As much as, like you said, Bill or Vrabel would have been great, but those guys fresh off of head coaching is not necessarily a good thing for a team that's still trying to kind of figure it out. So with Zimmer, who
Especially knowing the role.
he
and
was a
stuff.
head coach, but then he was out of the NFL for a little while. He kind of knows his role. Like, hey, I'm just coming in here to try and stop teams from scoring touchdowns. That's really it.
Okay, so now let me ask you this: How hot do you think Mike McCarthy's seat is? Then going into this year.
This is, well, I said it last year that it was extremely hot, but it's even hotter now. And the only reason why I think we should not have fired McCarthy, and I'm glad that we didn't, is because Dak had the best year of his career. It was his first year play calling.
That's probably the main thing that saved his job.
Yeah, that's 100% what saved his job. Because I told you guys at the start of the season, if the Cowboys don't win the Super Bowl with this roster, McCarthy's fired. But then I didn't really expect Dak to have this great of a career, great of a season, and so now you have to explore those options. What this could be. If you just fire him right away, it's like, well, you never really know what could have been.
Right.
But this is probably his hot seat season, and then we'll get Bill Belichick back.
Right. OC.
So if he has a good year, right? He's on the last year of his deal. Is he gonna command the to reset the market at the quarterback spot?
Are you talking about Dak?
Yeah.
Well, I've been hearing like numbers of like up
I
to
heard 60
million a
60,
year.
and I thought, holy shit. I don't know. I'm really conflicted because as much as I've researched and gotten to know Dak and interviews, not personally, obviously, but like, you know who he is, he doesn't seem
No,
like,
yeah,
like
you met him personally.
doesn't
That's
seem
how
like
big our podcast is, dude.
doesn't seem like that type of guy that's going to demand 60 million. He kind of seemed the guy to me that is going to be like, hey, I want X amount of money, and that would add up to $60 million for 5 years or 6 years or whatever it is. But let's split that up over the next 10, 11 years. Kind of like a lot what they do with Ohtani in baseball is you're going to pay me even after I'm done playing here,
And then the salary
which
cap,
makes room in the salary cap.
the salary cap just keeps going up.
Yes.
Here's my next question to you. If he has another first round exit, do you re-sign him? Do you still want him?
Yes, I still want him.
even
Yes, I still want him, but
You know how hard
the
it is to find a quarterback.
Yes, exactly. The negotiations are going to be very difficult if it's a first-round exit. Granted, if it's a first-round exit and he put up 35 points and threw for 325 yards and the defense couldn't stop a fucking thing, I'm not going to be upset at Dak Prescott about that. But if Dak Prescott has a first-round exit and he threw for 210 yards, we ran for 85 yards as his team, and we lost 7 to 11 or 12 or whatever, I'm going to look at Dak and be like, dude, you can't score 2 touchdowns and win a playoff game, then that changes everything. So I guess my answer to you is it just depends on how we lose in the first round. But realistically, like, I'd take Dak over any of the quarterbacks in the draft this year. I'd take Dak over any of the free agents in the NFL right now. There's only a handful of guys that I would say trade Dak Prescott for that guy.
It would be like
And that's
Mahomes, Allen, and
yeah,
Burrow,
and
those
those
guys
and
aren't
no
going
one's
anywhere.
going to make those
Yeah.
trades. So yeah, I'm perfectly fine with Dak Prescott being the franchise quarterback for the next 6 to 8 years. It's not a problem to me.
You heard it here first.
What?
I've never thought Dak Prescott
Nothing
was.
past the divisional round.
I never thought Dak Prescott has been the problem for the Dallas Cowboys. The problem kind of has been everywhere else. It seems like, yes, he hasn't been great and he's been inconsistent at times, but I mean, when you have Coach Clapp as your coach for the first couple of years, and then you got to transition over to someone who you essentially beat him in the totem pole as the quarterback, and he's now your offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. It's the dynamic there is not necessarily great. Like
And then Kellen Moore didn't
the
really
reason
have a great
the reason why
year
Kellen
with
Moore became a
Herbert.
coach is because Dak Prescott came in, took his spot. They cut Kellen Moore, and then Dak Prescott eventually took Tony Romo's spot.
Yeah.
So it was a weird dynamic there for the first few years in Dak Prescott's career, and now you saw his potential this year, and that was with the right coordinator. And so I'm not concerned at all about Dak Prescott in the future. This was a great season for him, and I think he reassured a lot of Cowboy fans.
No, yeah, they'll be fine. I feel like I was talking to my brother the other day. I feel like it's going to be the same teams in the NFC Championship hunt, right? It's going
to be the same
Niners, Detroit,
same three teams with Detroit slightly right there out the bubble.
Yeah, and then maybe Green Bay. Green Bay will probably be up there too. It's going to be the same thing, I feel like.
Yeah, I think this was the last shot for the Rams. I don't know how much we talked about how much Matthew Stafford
How much they're going to be able to hang on, even though you have Puka. I mean, is that really
be
enough?
I don't know. Seattle, I think, is going to go backwards. The Lions, I'm interested to see the Lions. I kind of feel like this was their Cinderella run, and I
feel like
their defense is going to be good. But I mean, has Jared Goff ever put back-to-back quality years?
And I feel like that's the biggest question mark for Detroit right now. Is Jared Goff.
Yeah. So great, you guys are going to have good defense, but again, you can't rely on Jared Goff to go out there and win you games. He could.
So you're saying they draft a guy?
No, I'm not saying. Well, I mean, almost everyone drafts a quarterback eventually, right?
But like a second or third round.
No,
do they trade up?
Well, I don't even know who their backup is. Do they have a quality backup?
It was Teddy Bridgewater.
And then he ended up retiring.
Yeah.
Teddy's now a high school football coach.
Good for him.
Is he really?
Yeah, I did hear
Is it
about
like his
that.
son's team or?
No, he went to his alma mater.
Oh,
he's a head football coach. Good for him. And he's always had his head on straight.
dude, the
Teddy
guy that could have been like he could have had a great career.
He almost did.
He did as a backup.
until he went lights out when he was on Minnesota. I think he went lights out a couple times. It was just like, oh, poor Teddy.
Well, he led him to that playoff run, right? Like the first, I think Mike Zimmer's first year, was it?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Something happened to his hand, right? Or his he lost the ACL. Was it the knee?
Oh, it was the knee. It
was gruesome, wasn't it?
It was like really fucked up. Yeah,
and it was like training camp, right? Like,
something like that. Yeah. God, he's just some of these.
It was like every year,
luck.
Teddy Bridgewater. It's like he's hurt again, and it's like, was there anything bad? Well, I mean, he broke his right hand. Well, he throws with that hand, so
dude, it makes you wonder how does anybody get through healthy?
That's what's amazing about Matthew Stafford is that dude's like, oh, he broke his thumb. Okay,
right.
well he's gonna wear a thumb cast for 3 days and then he's gonna push through it. Yeah. What happened, Matthew Stafford? Oh, he has got a collapsed lung, but it'll heal before next Sunday.
He's got a separated shoulder, but he's still through a game-winning touchdown pass. Yeah,
that's crazy.
What's the injection they give the Toradol?
The
players.
Isn't it? Wasn't
100%.
Didn't Matthew Stafford didn't break his collarbone?
Yeah, he separated his shoulder.
He separated his shoulder and then still threw a touchdown.
Yeah,
that's
and
incredible.
He was coming off the field. Remember, he was like, "Oh no, it's out! It's out! Nobody celebrate with me." Yeah. Things like that.
He ran to the sideline like that.
He's a dog. I remember because he went first overall, right, out of Georgia, and I remember I think people were calling him a bust there early on because of how he was always injured. Right? I think there was I think he missed a year with a torn ACL. I think early on in his career. And then he's just like, I feel like he just never got like the recognition he deserved.
And then out of nowhere, he got that super max contract from Detroit. And I'm like, Matthew Stafford?
He was good, dude.
Matthew Stafford, that's who you're going to pay?
But it's also, to be fair, a lot of his numbers were kind of inflated because they were always behind in fourth quarter. Yeah. So he just started
checking it out.
Yeah. And then it was kind of like Matthew Stafford traded to the Rams. And I thought, like he can sling it, but let's see.
Fuck.
And then I saw his first game. I said, "Oh no!"
As soon as they made that trade, I said,
"Oh no!
Fuck.
This is
this
is a whole new team.
Yeah,
this is a whole new Matthew Stafford. You're telling me that this is what Detroit could have been with quality players next to him? That's crazy."
Poor guy, dude. OC.
Yeah.
What do you guys do with Tua? You guys extend him?
They're gonna extend him.
Yeah, but I mean,
they're not gonna give him.
Much?
They're not gonna give him like.
He's not resetting the market.
Yeah, he's not resetting. He's not going to get top 3 money, but he's going to be inside the top 10.
He'll get paid.
Yeah.
I don't think he makes top 5 money.
No, he won't. He'll be in
He's not there yet.
He'll be in that 5 to 10 range. Like he'll be like.
You got to give him that.
How long would you feel comfortable extending him for?
3 years.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I was thinking 3 to 5,
and then like an opt out after the second year. So.
And then you give them the incentive, like, hey, you go to an AFC Championship game in the next 2 to 3 years.
How about just win a playoff game?
Does Tua play hardball? Does he does he want more guarantee money? Maybe he doesn't want the opt out.
I don't know. I feel like little quarterbacks, smaller quarterbacks feel like they're the ones that play more hardball. Like
Like Kyle Murray.
like kind of like running backs. Like I need that money now because there's no guarantee I'm going to get it down the road.
I think that's the biggest deal is just getting, especially with his injury history, he might be looking for some of that guaranteed money, dude.
If Tua demanded more than 5 years, would you do it?
No. 4 max. 4 max. That's what I'm saying. 3 is a good number.
When's his contract up? After next year?
After next year.
So,
but he's eligible for an extension.
If he wanted 5 years, you'd tell him hit the road?
No, I just think you have to play. Both sides have to agree that, it's like, okay, you finally stayed healthy for 1 complete season. Now let's do it for 2 in a row, 3 in a row. That way there's the longevity. The longevity thing is there, and you're able to see him out.
Plus, I think that marriage with Mike McDaniel's there, I think it's starting to work out for him a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like you guys got a good little partnership going, even though you guys haven't been able to translate that to playoff wins, but I feel like you guys are getting there.
It's gonna be very interesting how like they do the contract because they're like in the negative for the cap, so they gotta cut dudes, they gotta release guys.
Who's your D tackle?
Well, they're gonna franchise tag him. They're not gonna let him go.
They're not gonna let him go.
Nope, they're gonna tag him.
Which one?
Wilkins, the guy that talks a lot.
And then I hear there's like a lot of talk about trading Jalen Waddle. I was like, I don't think
that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Xavier Howard's probably gonna get released. Teron Armstead announced today that he's coming back because he was like contemplating.
Oh, right, he was my retire.
What about my boy Cedric Wilson?
He's probably on the back burner.
Raheem probably.
Ooh, Mostert.
Yeah, because now they found Achane, so that's good for them.
Give me Mostert.
But that defense is probably gonna suffer a lot of key losses.
It's not like they had really good.
No, but a lot of it went. They were like
to Jalen and Howard.
No, but
what about that white boy?
Van Ginkel, that's the one that I don't think they're going to be able to resign because there's going to be teams that want him.
Is he a linebacker or an end?
He plays both. He's like a hybrid. He's kind of like Mike.
Cowboys need linebackers.
Yeah.
We like those white boy linebackers.
I think it's hard to play when you have expensive DBs, right? And then DBs, they age out quick.
Yeah, so they'll let Xavier go because they have Jalen. They gave him a lot of money to sign up, or they basically took over his contract
pretty much.
And then
Jalen, the thing was sucks. Jalen was hurt most of the year.
Yeah, so hopefully
the fans were still voting him into the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, Andrew was not.
It's just the proper popularity contest now. It's just the names.
It's kind of annoying.
Yeah,
I hate fan votes.
Who's your guys' favorite free agent right now? Like who would you has
Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry.
That's a big free agent for me because Cowboys need a running back.
I feel like the Cowboys and the
you got the list
Ravens.
Right there? Can you pull up the list?
Cowboys and Ravens, right? Are the 2 favorite landing spots for Derrick Henry?
Are they?
Yeah, that's the odds-on favorites right now. What do you think about Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, back to Minnesota.
You think so? You think he stays?
If I'm Minnesota, I give him what he wants.
It's just
Chris Jones, free agent. It's a big name.
Are they going to be able to keep him? Yeah,
he'll get tagged.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, that's the one. That Chris Jones one is going to
Josh Allen.
I'm pretty sure Chris Jones might
edge rusher Josh Allen.
No, yeah, Josh Allen. That's a big one, dude. He might go to a contender if he fits.
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins will get tagged.
He's going to get tagged.
I have no idea who Brian Burns is.
He's
a good linebacker.
He's a dog.
Yeah.
In Carolina.
Justin Matabuke.
He's a pretty good end for the Ravens.
He's not bad.
Christian Wilkins, Miami Dolphins.
Tagged.
There he is.
He's a dog.
He's going to get tagged.
So, I mean, and then
Winfield Jr.,
Josh Jacobs, Saquon.
Jalen Johnson, Chicago Bears. That's an interesting one.
That's the one I want.
That's an interesting one.
That's the one I want.
Come to Dallas where we have more corners than we need.
The Niners made a move for him last the trade deadline before they went after
I was
Chase.
really intrigued by the fact that they did not trade Jalen Johnson.
I guess they couldn't get it over the line. Well, speaking about the Browns, let's talk about the Justin Fields situation.
Browns, the Bears.
Hey, hold on. Before you get into that, I've seen because Dolphin fans are just find new things to argue about on Twitter.
Do they want Justin?
No, well, yeah. There's one fan predominantly that's been pushing for that, but
with all due respect, you are a
Did you
fucking
see?
idiot.
You saw how I called him out. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, there's this one guy that just everything negative about Miami,
OC and this guy back and forth.
and it's just like, bro, like yes, they're whatever X amount of millions of dollars in the cap, but these teams always figure out how to like push some money to like next year or the year after. Like these teams are like
they just restructure contracts.
Yeah.
You
when
extend
has
a couple of
team
guys.
never been under the cap?
Yeah.
All they do is just push the money back further. Like
Well, that's what they do. They play cap Jenga, right? Like they kind of just let's take this break, let's put it over here for now.
yeah,
and
that's
we'll
why
worry about it
like
later.
these fans panic.
Yeah,
They're like, oh my
yeah.
god, they got to do this and that. Yeah, they're gonna do X, Y, and Z. Someone's gonna get cut that you like. Oh well, like you got to deal with it, and they're just gonna find a way to get under the cap because that's what they always do.
Mm-hmm.
You turn somebody's roster or somebody's salary into a roster bonus, and then you get under.
Okay,
the cap.
so how does this tie into Justin Fields and the Dolphins?
No, I'm just saying because
He
there's
just
like
wanted to rant about this.
Oh,
guy
yeah,
on Twitter.
because there's people.
What's his
that,
at?
Don't call him out.
Let's call him out.
I don't know, something like Marino or because he went from a
Hey,
he
at
went
that
from
guy on Twitter.
he went
Okay.
from a Tua like fan to like completely just
To a hater.
to a hater,
Yeah.
full blown.
And that's probably the good thing that we aren't making those financial decisions for our teams, that we're just based off emotion. We're not doing that. We're letting other
Yeah,
people.
no, I called him out. I'm like, all right, well, you go manage the team.
Yeah.
Like if you know everything.
Okay,
about
so
it.
so if you're Chicago, then what do you do with Justin?
I
You
keep him.
I keep him.
I
Yeah.
keep him.
Parlay those picks.
I think it's pretty. I think I don't. To me, Bears fans try to remind me a lot of Miami fans. It's like, oh my God, you didn't win, 12 games this season when we were complete dog shit, so we got to get rid of you. It's like, hold on, dude. You guys aren't going to get better than Justin Fields.
Really?
Caleb Williams is not better than Justin Fields. I don't see him being better.
Mm-hmm.
And Penix maybe.
But if you're
Justin Fields is a good football player. He's
but if you're
proven
Chicago,
he's a good football player.
I mean, you missed out on Patrick Mahomes, right? When you had the second overall pick,
yeah, you took Trubisky.
and you took Trubisky. I
Yeah.
mean, do you let that happen again? Because you already know what you got with Justin Fields, right?
Okay, so but what you don't use that number one overall pick to take quarterback when you have a quarterback that's capable of starting the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta trade that first overall pick to someone who needs that quarterback.
But isn't it kind of doing like being it like the safe decision, right? Like it's like you're kind of playing it safe. Like you kind of want to keep Justin because you, at the very least, you can compete. But is he going to be the guy whoever take you over the hump when you have these other lottery tickets that you can scratch? That might be the guy.
But then
to
you
take
just
you over the hump.
you just waste a valuable pick.
But I mean, if you suck again later on, then you just get another pick.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, but then you're
Like,
just kicking the can down the road. You're never
because-
going to get any better.
But I feel like you kick the can down the road with Justin too, because then
Not if you
kinda
use those
keeps
picks to
you-
help him.
If you kind of just keeps you here, he keeps you here. Like how many times have we talked about these teams who are just good enough to stay out of like the first 10 picks of the NFL draft, but they're still not good enough to make it to the playoffs.
You just described Miami the last 25 years.
Let's just say you draft a quarterback, right? In the first round, the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and let's just say your left tackle gave up X number of sacks this season. You did not get any better at left tackle.
I get what you're saying.
So
I
Caleb
get what
Williams is
you're
going to have the same problem that Justin Fields just had.
I get what you're saying. You can build a better team with more picks, right? If you were to keep Justin, trade that pick away, you're able to put more weapons around him.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that. But, I mean, at the same time, you got to make the argument of look what C.J. Stroud was able to do with the team that he had. They found all those guys in the draft. Look at what Joe Burrow was ever to do early on in his career, right?
Mm-hmm.
He took him to the Super Bowl. What was it? His second year as a starter.
Yeah, and he had
Right.
a quality quarter.
And he had one
receiver,
weapon. He had one weapon.
Jamar
And
Chase,
then-
and he had Joe Mixon,
but then if you're Chicago,
and a quality head coach.
if you're Chicago, you have DJ Moore.
Oh
you
my
have
God,
Mooney.
DJ Moore. He came to that bat with DJ Moore. We're talking Jamar Chase against DJ Moore.
Moore
That's because
put up-
he had a 75-point.
Yeah, against
game
me.
against
me.
you. Exactly.
DJ Moore and Jamar
He
Chase
had
are
a
not in
couple-
the same class.
Coming down
They're
the
not in the
stretch,
same class.
coming down the stretch, DJ Moore actually ended up having a pretty good year in fantasy.
Yeah, when
Which helped me win
when
the-
people stopped caring about the Bears, just
He still
hey,
put-
let
he still put
DJ
up
get a few
numbers.
points.
He still-
Don't let anyone
I'm not
else
saying
score.
DJ Moore is Jamar Chase, right?
What are you saying?
You compared the two right now. You said that Justin Fields got weapons, DJ Moore like Burrow
But I mean,
has Chase.
look, CJ Stroud's got Tank Dell, right? And then he was able to find
CJ Stroud-
Nico Collins.
CJ Stroud's
those are guys
division-
that they got in the draft.
his division's also ass. He's got a really good head coach, and he's got a good defense. The Bears don't have any of those. They play in a tough division. He had a shitty head coach, and doesn't have any good defense.
So then what happens? So what happens this year? Then you trade away all these picks. You build a great team around him, and then Justin Jefferson goes out and he's ass this next year.
Okay, and my point is the quarterbacks in this year's draft are not going to be any better than Justin Fields. You don't know that. You also don't know that Justin Fields isn't going to be any better.
But that's what I'm saying.
You've surrounded him with ass.
But that's what I'm saying is that you take the risk and act because you know what you have already with Justin Fields. Might as well take the risk, and maybe you do find a guy who's going to take you over the hump.
I think it's better to have a bunch of weapons and a bad quarterback, and then the next year all you need is a good quarterback, than to have decent weapons and you have multiple options at quarterback.
I can see both sides of this because
Right.
I'm like, I think like you're kind of describing it. I kind of like how like you've seen the peak, you've seen what Justin Fields can do, so you're like, all right, well we can trade him away and be the same team with the Caleb Williams or whoever we want to draft, you know. But I can also see like how are you going to give up on a kid without surrounding him with some good assets, you know.
Right.
So it's like Chicago's in a win-win situation, whatever they want to do.
Or a lose-lose.
Yeah. So, but I mean, they literally got handed the number 1 pick by an incompetent team, and now they
Which is
can.
really bad, yeah.
I'm more with Drew. Like, there's been flashes of great, and this kid has basically carried the team on his own.
Right.
So I can see where they can trade away the pick. You know, maybe draft him a couple O linemen that can help him out. Maybe a running back that's decent, so he doesn't have to run the ball all the time. And
They're in such a weird situation.
Their best player the last 2 years is their corner,
Jalen Johnson,
who's
leaving.
Yes, who's probably gonna leave.
and then they just let go of Eddie Jackson with one of their better defensive guys. Aside from
Right.
Jalen Johnson, their starting safety.
And then they traded Raekwon away last season.
So it's like,
taking-
how are you helping this franchise? He's your franchise, right?
Yeah, your first round, if I'm the Bears, has to be Marvin Harrison Jr. Because regardless of Justin Fields or whoever your quarterback is next year,
At least you have
you
this
have
guy.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
That's true.
You have this really good weapon.
You have a generational talent.
And what I do is I call the Commanders and I say, look, you need a quarterback. Well, you got the first overall pick.
Caleb's from Washington.
Yeah. We're gonna swap 1 and 2. That way you secure that you're gonna get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right.
And then if the Commanders like, you know what? No, we don't want to do that. There's other guys that want that number 1 pick.
Say, oh, you don't want it? I'm sure Arizona, the Giants, Tennessee.
These other guys would
Atlanta.
love to have it.
Yeah.
I'm trading that first overall pick to the Commanders, and the Commanders have to take it.
And you drop to 2, and then you take.
Yeah, because the Commanders aren't going to take Marvin Harrison Jr.
Because here's the draft order. You got the Bears with the first pick. Washington's stuck behind them. New England is third. You don't think New England would want him?
I think they would. Except the downside is if you swap the first and third pick, the Commanders could take Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
to
I hate
sabotage it.
I hate to cut this conversation off, but we are out of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We're gonna have to
you
continue it next
got to
time.
make sure you get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
That was a good conversation. It
Yeah.
sucks that we saved it to the very end. All right, Drew, go ahead and close it out.
All right, everyone. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe button, and we'll catch you maybe next week. I don't know. This is the awkward time where football season's
on the
done,
flippity-flip.
and German doesn't want to talk any other sport. So
It's basketball.
it's baseball season, baby.
March
Spring
Madness.
training started this
It's
week.
also Champions League finals.
Yeah, Manchester United is not playing.
So
So
it's good to watch.
United's ass.
All right.
Go
whatever.
Chelsea.